Testing. Okay, desktop webcam. Ooh. and I just really need to work on getting that sound working off on the top. All right, trying this again. Welcome to WriterGreg on Twitch, and welcome to the WorldAnvil Summer Camp 2020 Prompt Challenge. And I am glad to be here. It is good to be back, and thank you, Moonflower, for letting me know that the sound wasn't and is now working again. I really appreciate that help in the chat. All right, so I've been gone for a couple days, enjoying the weekend and some fresh mountain air, and I had very limited access to the internet this weekend. And while up in the mountains, what is there to do but to just brainstorm? And so what I have here is all of the notes that I'm going to be working on for this next week on all of the different prompts. So it's exciting to be back and actually type it in and collaborate together on all of these prompts. So I have made some progress on the different articles, but like I promised at the beginning, I'm going to be doing all of the typing live on stream for everyone to enjoy. So I'm glad to be back, and let's get into this. And let's switch to WorldAnvil. And here we are. Okay, it looks like the microphone is still working. Let's keep that going. All right, so we are going to be able to catch up this week, because we have the next releases of prompts are going to be on the 10th of July. And so we do have a little bit of catching up to do. So, and since I never stream on Sundays, and I will be gone on Friday, possibly Saturday, with other family commitments this week, we definitely have 4 solid days of world building ahead of us, where we will most likely do two prompts a day. And so if the streams go a little longer, that's what's going to have to happen. All right, so let's get started at the beginning of the third prompt. We are going to describe an important religious leader in your world. How has their character changed the status quo? Now I am going to copy that text so that when we let us begin. Here we go. All right, let's put in the comment. Get rid of those extra links. All right, so this is not a draft. And one thing I didn't do in my other articles that I need to do here is I need to add the category. And I am adding the Summer Camp 2020 challenge here. Not that it's necessary for the challenge to be a part of that, but just because I want to be able to have that on my homepage so people can see it and find it more easily. And so we are going to save those changes. Oh, I got to fill in the title. Okay, the person that we are going to be talking about and creating today, I had to come up with a name for him first, and his name is going to be Sable the Peaceful. Now, what is a more family-friendly name than Sable the Peaceful? I couldn't think of one. Sable the Peaceful is going to be our religious person that we're going to be talking about today. Now, even though I did all of this pre-worked on the prompts, I did not look at the template. So putting the information from my raw brainstorm and putting it into the template, we'll still see what's going to happen with that. All right, so if we come here to our home page, we refresh that, we go to the Summer Camp Challenge. All right, we already have those prompts ready to go for when people want to see it or find it at Sagadorm. And I did not properly close that. All right. Okay, character portrait. I don't have the ability to draw, and I don't have a character portrait at this time, so we're just going to leave that as is for right now. The species, all right, let's talk about the species. I did talk previously, we do not have a lot of sentient creatures on Sagadorm. And what we have here are we have human, the fairy, and the fae. The difference between fairy and fae are magical, normal human-sized persons who are then able to do magic. A fairy if you're good, a fae if you're evil. And this and Sable, I picked his name like 10 minutes ago. Sable is actually a fairy. Now, as for a birth date, I'm not exactly sure when his birthday is going to be. This is way too far in the future. All right, year of his birth. When should we have him born? Okay, all right, maybe we need to talk a little bit more about him to be able to get a better understanding of who he is and why he is important. He is the high priest of Sagadorm, and he is, I would say, the equivalent to the Pope of the Catholic Church, the Patriarch of the Eastern denominations. He is the religious person in charge of all those who worship in his faith. And so, and he is going to be the person who is most responsible for the formation of the Fairy Council. So when we say that what year was he born, it is going to have to be pre-zero, because his life work builds up to the first year. And so I guess, what age do we want him to be? Well, I'd like to think that fairies have an extended life. I'm not sure how long that's going to be. I haven't defined if the fairy and the fae, if they live twice as long, 3 times as long, they're definitely not going to be immortal, because you'll just have a world of overpopulation. So we're going to do that. But if we do have any human fairy couplings, I don't want it to be weird where you have someone who becomes a widow and then still has 2/3 of their life left to go. So I'm not sure about that. Let's just pick negative 96. Okay, so that is the year of his death. How long will he live? Let's say he'll live maybe, let's just throw in, no, 42. It's the answer to everything. And so no calculation is made, and it's great. No, we're not going to give his age, because he is going to be involved in a lot of different things, and because our world doesn't have a specific time of when the events happen, it's hard to point down what he is. But he is going to be a part of, he is going to be 96 years old when the great culmination of his life work happens. Eyes dark blue and squinty. No, he's gonna go. Let's go for pale gray. Pale white, tanned, or spotty. He is going to be. He'll be a scholar. He'll be a priest. He may or may not get in and out a lot. I don't know. He is a fairy. I don't know. Let's just say he is tanned. And he, I really haven't thought a lot about the customs of this priesthood that runs this religion, so I don't know how they dress really. This is going to be roughly 650 years after Vola, the first fairy that was described in the Fairy's Hope, is going to happen. So I don't know. Hair, well, he is going to be 96, so he's going to have long silver hair, uh, partially receding. Because whether I like it or not, I am partial to receding hair nowadays. All right, partially receded. All right, height. Ugh. Um, let's. I don't know. I think I want to make him on the shorter side because he will. He is a peaceful man. He has to rely on other skills other than brute strength or trying to domineer someone. So I think I will give him 5 foot, not 23. Wow, 5 foot 2 inches tall. His weight, he is going to be a small man. So I think, sure, 145 pounds. I do not know what that translates into that. He is a male. So male. Ethnicity. I haven't created any ethnicities yet for this world because I really haven't worked through all of that different stuff. I know there's going to be some other prompts. I think there's some other prompts about that. So we'll just leave him as a fairy as of now, and we can fill more of that information later. All right, current location. He is in Trillinius. Trillinius is the island chain where the central government of the Fairy Council will form. It is the Vatican and the Vatican City, but it controls the whole archipelago as opposed to just the a small section of a city such as the Vatican is within Rome. Current vehicle, no, he doesn't have no, he doesn't. Circumstances of birth. Did any special circumstances lead to... No. No prophecy. He was... yeah. Normal. Uneventful. And that is so boring, I'm sure. Circumstances of his death. Peaceful in his sleep of old age. Yeah, that I just really don't see him. He's not a warrior, and he is a man of peace, and the work that he does is going to be very good. Okay, related prose article. Nope. He is not in any prose as of yet. So let's save this. I am really going to be bummed if all of the notes that I typed up won't fit in here because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all 300 words in here. All right, naming. All right, his name is Sable, not Gregory. The family. Wow, I really do not like that. Trying to autofill. Family name. Not know. Don't know that yet because I did call him the Peaceful because I didn't know what I wanted to call his name. To call him His Holiness or something like that seems too on the nose and too used from earthly religions. I mean, because if I call him the Father or the Pope or His Holiness or anything like that, it would seem to similar to what that, and I do want to have this to be a foreign feeling, but not, well, let's see if I can Google something. Religious honorifics and titles. Sure, let's go there. List of religious titles and styles. Sure, let's go here. Buddhist is, let's see. Eastern Orthodox, I like patriarch. Metropolitan, don't know that. Proto-priest, the Reverend Proto-priest. No. Archpriest. I kind of like Archpriest. No, deacon, proto-deacon, no, those are, no, he's not a monk. He has to be very political because of what he is. No. Doctor, no. Doctor Who, no. Catholicism, not a bishop, not an abbot. Huh. An abbot. Maybe. Hinduism. Because the religion that I have does believe in reincarnation. But it's not, hopefully you can't hear my family eating dinner right now. We do not have a mute button in my family. All right. No. Now what was no. Not life coach. Priestess, no. Wow. Zoroastrian. Herbad. Dastur. That's tempting. But, yeah. It was up here in, not the abbot. Oh, what was I looking at? Archpriest? No, it wasn't. It was before here. I don't know. That's the problem with using titles from the real world. You don't really want to use something that is too close. I mean, I do like Chancellor. Yep, okay, Chancellor. Because he does have that. Yeah, okay, he's the Chancellor. All right, he is Chancellor. All right, given name Sable, family name don't know, middle name don't know. His middle name is the. Nickname alias do not know. All right, so enough of working on that. Mental. What is personal history, education, employment, accomplishments and achievements, failures and embarrassments, mental trauma, intellectual characteristics, morality and philosophy, sexuality, gender identity, taboos, known languages. Okay, yeah, all right, we can work with this. All right. Personal history. Sable. Looking at, I talked a lot, in my notes, I talked a lot about the religion that this was going to be a part of more than him, because I knew that this was going to be focusing more on him, and I wanted to know where I was going to put this this verse in. If you want a more refined history for your character, you can always create a timeline and attach their article. Sure, that could work. Okay, Sable was born on Trillinius, and to, I don't want to make religion. I don't want to make religion like. I don't want to make religion like a family business, like he was the son of a pastor or something like that. To I'm going to say he was high-classed merchant family. Because the reason why I pick a high-class merchant family is because the position of his family allowed Sable to obtain an education from a young age. All right. And from a young age, he was fascinated by astronomy and astronomy, because the religion that he's going to lead is going to be very astrologically based, and he's going and in history. Okay. He was a very pious young man, and his family encouraged to pick a faith to belong, to join. Okay. Now, physical, personal, divine deity. Yeah, okay, so that I'm gonna have a lot of to do on that last page. So, young man, pick a faith to join. All right, education. Completed all education that was available to him in Trillinius. I can spell my own words that I make up. I can still spell them. Let's see. He was very gifted and excelled in his studies. Many of the priests and priestesses that ran the secondary education all wanted Sable to join their sect. Okay. Employment. He became a priest of Sagadorm. Priest of Sagadorm as a young adult and remained in the priesthood for his entire life. Now, if it sounds like this character is boring, it probably is because he is boring. And when you have a boring character, I think that's fine. But he can't be a main character. He can't be a POV character because boring characters make boring books. Boring characters will not make your story exciting to read because it's conflict that drives story. And so while Sable here is a very influential person, he did it in a very boring manner. And I will get back to more what he does. Well, let's talk about the let's talk about the accomplishment and achievements. Okay, maybe let's switch over to let's see, what is social? Let's save changes. Okay, social. Trilinius. Current residence. Trilinius. Titles, wealth. He lived a Spartan life as I call him a priest. Well, he is a priest who strove, who placed charity above all else. Cool. Family ties, religious views. Yeah, he was a very devout, of course, devout follower of Sagadorm. Now, you may be confused on why I am calling the religion the same name as a plant, the same name as the planet is the same name as the deity. Well, let's just get into that. The divine and the deity. Let us go over to that. Okay. He is not any of those. Divine, deity. He is a fairy. He is he's just a fairy, non-divine. Okay. So I may be using these classifications in a different manner because let's look at this adding article here, because we have character, condition, ethnicity, military. Do we have a religion? Organization. Maybe. But I don't really want to put the religion there because we're not talking about religion today. So let us just go and pretend that the divine deity tab here is talking about the deity that he worships, not the deity that he is. All right, so Sable the Peaceful is the Chancellor, the High Chancellor of Sagadorm. He is the head ecclesiastical My kingdom for spell check. Wow, that was not even close. He's the head ecclesiastical figure of the faith of the five dragons. Okay, so the faith of the five dragons will need to be an organizational thing that we'll create at another time. We may have a prompt about that in the future, so there may be a little bit of reworking there, but that's okay. We're just going to go with that. And let's see, okay, so we have the save. All right. Oh, I have too many different versions of the screen. What I'm working on, what's being broadcast, it's sometimes kind of confusing. Okay, the divine domains. Let's talk about that. All right, the faith of the five dragons is an astrologically based religion that worships the five celestial elemental dragons of creation. Okay, the reason why I call them celestial dragons is because to call them space dragons might sound a little strange. So they are the five celestial elemental dragons of creation. All right. The five dragons were Sagadorm, the metal dragon, and I'm not sure these are the names of the dragons, but I'm just going to go with it. We have Dracis, the air dragon. We have Fennis, the fire dragon. We have Erdris, the earth dragon. And we have Hydrus, if you could guess, the water dragon. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm not sure about these names is because in the last time I streamed, I had this complicated spreadsheet that had all of these different things, and everything is based on 4, except for the religion, because the religion is the 5 dragons, even though there are the 4 main elements of air, fire, earth, and water. So Dracis, Fennis, Erdis, and Hydrus are actually the names of the days of the week. In the same way that we have in our calendar, Wednesday is actually named after Odin, Thursday after Thor, Friday after Frigga, and then Saturday after Saturn. We have a lot of the days of our English calendar named after Norse or other mythologies. So in the mythology that we have here is that we have the 4 dragons, and they're the 4 days of the week. Now, why not 7? Because there's only 4 days in my week, as there are 6. There's 4 days in the week, 4 weeks in a month, 4 months in a season, and 4 seasons in a year, or 16 months in a year. Okay, so the Dracis, Fennis, Erdis, and Hydrus, as their days of the week, I may change the name so that we can have real names that match a little bit closer, maybe to Sagadorm, but this is just going to be a good placeholder at this time. All right. Now, I talk about each of the, I talk a little bit about it. Have I talked about no, I haven't. One of the future prompts is going to talk about a celestial area, and so we're going to get to that, but let's just provide a little bit of background, is that as a astrological faith, they worship the celestial bodies, or in this case, the four moons of that orbit Sagadorm. Okay, now, in brief, the creation myth of Sagadorm is based on a battle between the five celestial dragons. These five dragons fought in orbit around around a star, each wanting the power of the star for itself. In the end of the battle, Sagadorm was victorious. Okay, and as with all magical creatures, the four dead dragons petrified, and they petrified, and then and a core, those magical cores we talked about earlier, those magical cores formed within. Sagadorm, the metal, took all of the bodies of the slain dragons to himself, and placed the four cores in orbit around himself. The Sagadorm transformed himself, and the remains of the other dragons into a planet containing all five elements. Okay. Those who worship the five dragons, let's capitalize five dragons, select one to worship as a member of an element-based sect, and follows the principles assigned to that dragon. Okay, now, holy books, divine symbols, tenets of faith. Okay, let's talk about the tenets of faith. Okay, the 5 elements of the celestial dragons represent different strengths. All right. Okay. So let's get an ordered. No. Yeah. Let's get. All right. So no, we will do. Let's put a bold in here, and then yeah, we will put that in space. All right. So we have metal is considered to be the combination of all other elements. Now, in the Latin or Roman based elemental system, they only believed in the 4 elements, but in the Chinese they had the 5 elements, where metal was one of the 5 elements. So I am mixing a little bit of Chinese into that as well. But the reason why I'm doing that, okay, so metal is considered to be the combination of all other elements because, so let's just go because Earth is where ore is found. Okay, so to have that, Earth is where ore is found. Fire is oh, I got too many spaces in here. Fire is used to purify and shape the ore. I really love metallurgy and the idea of blacksmithing or metalsmithing and swordcraft, and there's some cool shows about that. And so I'm basing a lot of how these 5 elements interact based on the very limited knowledge of what I've learned from watching shows about blacksmithing or traditional weapon making. Okay, so fire is used to purify the metal or purify the ore and then shape it into what you want. And unlike other ways of having water is used to quench and strengthen. And it may be, and this is where it may be a little bit different from other stories that use the elements. Water is not usually meant to represent strength, but I want to have my system be different and not be a copy of, or be accused of a copy of, say, Avatar: The Last Airbender, a wonderful story, a wonderful magic system that is based on the 4 elements, because everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Well, the fire in my world is not going to be about strength and aggression and that. It is about purification and shaping oneself in an effort to be pure. Whereas water is what will be used to strengthen, because if you're patient, like water, even water can carve the Grand Canyon. Even water can drill through solid metal, given time. So that's one of the reasons why I like using water for strength. Okay, and then the last one, air, is used. Okay, air gives life to the fire and to the I'm just going to call it the smithy, the smith, because the forger, the forger or the smith. So air, I wasn't really sure on where to do that. So that is the tenets of faith, and each of these, yeah, so let's just go, each of these attributes of how metal is made useful to the inhabitants of Sagadorm is the basis for their faith. All right, so that's the basic faith, not faith. All right, so let's save that. Save. All right, so do we go back to personal motivation? He seeks peace between nations and individuals, believes that peace begins within the one. Peace cannot be forced, but only cultivated and shared. Okay. I'm not sure how we are. Oh, click to submit your prompt. So maybe we do have enough here, but I haven't talked about his accomplishments, and I think that's what is family ties, religious, social, active mannerisms, pet speech. Again, he's not that important in a story, but where physical, body features, facial, I really don't care what he looks like. Okay. Special. He is a practitioner of magic due to his fairy heritage. Okay. But where nope. Oh, conditions. Maybe that's something that we'll be working on later, because we did have that. Mental, education, accomplishments. Okay. This is where we get into what he did at age 95. He is the founding force behind the Fairy Council. It was his objective to establish peace through open communication between the countries of the world. Okay, he's the one that founded it. Vola may have been the first fairy, but it is Sable who is the one who brings the fairies, unifies them in peace, unifies the world in peace, or at least as peaceful as it can be at an international level. So that's what he does. So his objective was, objective to establish peace. Let's see. Okay, he standardized the calendar used by the world. He established the ambassadorships between the Fairy Council and the other countries. Okay, let's see, what else am I missing here? Yeah, okay. So that's the big thing. He is, like, Pope Gregory the 10th is the one that made the Gregorian calendar. That is what Sable did. He made the Trilenian calendar, which is the calendar that is used and from for the Common Era and going forward, and then everything is BC or before BCE, before the Common Era, is what we have here for the calendar. So these, I mean, there are a lot of good prompts here, but I'm not going to really fill in all of these because he is a background character. Now that may change. I may want to have him to be more, I could tell the story of how he formed the council or something, but it would need to be a rather significant conflict that he would have, and I think it would be a lot more interesting to tell the story from a different point of view. Okay, so let's go to the community challenges, and we will click. I do apologize. Click to submit your prompt. And waiting. All right, it has been submitted. Awesome. So let us go back to the community. Let us go to the challenges. Here we go. Let us go to check your progress. Great. Sable the Peaceful. Awesome. All right. Now, hey, AJ, welcome back. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome. We just finished Sable the Peaceful, our character, and we're about to start talking about apex predators. So welcome. Okay. Again, I'm using my notes that I typed up before, so we are just going to go for that. All right. Let us see what they want us to talk about the apex predator. How does it hunt and how does it survive? Okay, let's just go apex predator. Now, we are going to call our apex predator the Cursed. All right, take off the draft, go to navigation, put this under Summer Camp, go back to species. They are a species. They are definitely a species. We're going to save these changes. Oh, yeah. You haven't gotten to your writing, AJ, yet? I totally understand that. Well, feel free to work alongside me if you haven't created any of your own. And yeah, I'm behind. It's the 6th. I'm working on prompt 4 because I had a wonderful weekend with my wife's family up in the mountains. So I am trying to get this done. Okay, so let's talk about, now this is, all right, so now what type of article is this? Let's go back here. Well, let's see how the Sable the Peaceful. Nice, nice. Cool. All right, we'll have to play with that some more. All right, let's go back to not that, not that, not that. Why can't... Oh, that button right there. Go back to the home page. We'll go back to summer camp. All right, so the cursed is a species. All right. So scientific classification. They are the cursed. And there it varies. And again, I'm taking this a little bit in a different way. Human, but humanoid. They are a cursed humanoid, which also varies. Parent species. Well, I'm just going to say human because it could have been any. Oh, I can select. Yeah, fae, fairy, or kith. Okay, the kith. I really haven't talked about the kith. The kith is the original idea was that the kith is a child of a human and a fairy. But what because I wanted this to be a generational thing. Magic is is genetically based. You have to have fairy ancestry to be a fairy yourself. The kith is basically a low-powered fairy. I wouldn't, in Harry Potter terms, I wouldn't call them so much as a muggle as I would saying it was because a muggle or no, a squib. Whereas a squib is a non-magical person born to magical parentage. A kith still has some powers, but not enough to actually become a fairy or a fae. Okay. Geographic distribution. You know what? They are all over the place. The realms of Sagadorm, because they're, as I get into it, related ethnicities. Yep, nope, discovered by, no, the species is very much alive. Conservation status. That's an easy one, an interesting one, is because they are despised. The cursed are despised by all sentient humanoids. And when I say humanoids, of course, I mean fairy, fae, human. Yeah, they are just despised. They are not liked at all. All right. Okay, so now this is where it gets interesting here, is talking about the anatomy or morphology, because the cursed is my answer to why do animals talk in fairy tales. When you think about fairy tales, there's many kinds that are out there. The fairy tales that are just human based, thinking not Jack and the Beanstalk, because there is a giant. Okay. You can think there's a lot of fairy tales out there that have just humans. Hansel and Gretel. Let's think, okay, Hansel and Gretel, there's the father, the evil stepmother, the Hansel and Gretel, obviously, and then there is the witch, or in my case, if I retold that story, the fae inside the house that built the house of candy and gingerbread that the Hansel and Gretel then eat. That would be an example of a fairy tale where it's all humanoid characters. But then you get into others like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The Three Bears are intelligent. And you talk about Puss in Boots. Puss, the cat, is intelligent. And what's the difference between the Three Bears and normal bears? It goes back to why does Goofy from Disney drive around, wear clothes, but Pluto does not? They're both dogs. And what's the difference between Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and real mice? You know, that's where I'm getting my answer to that problem with fairy tales is called the cursed. And so anatomy, this varies because the cursed are any animal that was transformed from are humans. The cursed are humans that were transformed into an animal of the fairy's choice. Okay, so let's think about Princess and the Frog. Disney movie or the classical one. You had the prince who was then cursed and turned into the frog. The frog could speak, the frog could act, the frog was able to do things that normal frogs could not. So he was a cursed animal as opposed to just being a human being. And so I'm taking this to the next step, or the continuation of the Princess and the Frog motif, is that every time you find an animal in a fairy tale or one of my fairy tales that can talk, it's because they were once a human who was transformed as either a punishment or as anything. You know, the prince and the frog, the princess and the frog was good, but he still was cursed by an evil person. But I also have ideas where you have an evil person who, for a corporal punishment, is turned into a cursed animal and then exiled. And so that's where we have it. Okay. So so there we have that. Okay, so it varies because, and it could be a cursed animal could be any animal. Okay, perception, sensory. Okay, the cursed have the same human intelligence they had prior to their transformation, intelligence and memories they had prior to their transformation. So they don't forget anything. However, they do not have any of the instincts of the animal to which they have become. Grammar. Okay. So there we have it. So this definitely puts them at an advantage and disadvantage with other animals. So you could have a lion, a cursed lion would have all of the intelligence, normal strength, speed, agility of a traditional lion, but would not have any of the instincts of that lion. They would have to learn how to hunt. They would have to learn how to do all this thing. They could learn quickly if they don't starve to death first, but they would have to develop that skill just as a challenge. All right, so there we have the curse. Genetics, reproduction. Okay, the cursed are sterile and unable to reproduce. Okay, I don't want to have the situation where a new subclass of creatures forms in the world where that gets into that weird situation of like different multiple sentient species on the same world who are in conflict, and I just want to avoid those stories. Not that those aren't cool stories. It's just when you go through the fairy tales, we're not going to tell those kind of stories. So we'll just say that they're sterile, unable to reproduce, and new cursed are created by magic from fairy or fae. Okay, growth rate and stages. The cursed maintain a normal human lifespan, because that would really stink if you let's transform you into a mayfly and you're dead tomorrow. A normal human lifespan unless killed. Yeah, unless killed, because they're just normal. Did I perception, sensory? No. Morphology? No. Growth rate, ecology and habitat varies based on the form the cursed animal takes. Okay. Biological. Okay, again, it's based on that diet. Yeah, based on that. And so it does feel like I'm kind of cheating here with all of the because I'm not describing one species. I'm describing the cursed of it, because it can vary. But I just feel that this is important to do something like this, is because we need to have that explanation. And in my story, The Maiden's Hope, the concept of cursed is critical to that story. And if you want to read that story, it's available on Sagadorm at WorldAnvil, or a link is at WriterGreg.com under free fiction. So that is really important. Okay, so let's extend it. Biological traits. Sure. I mean, 60 years. Sure. Let's be generous. Let's say 70, or torturous. 75 years. Average height based on the animal. Average weight, again. Yeah. Average intelligence. Okay, human level intelligence based on the education and experiences of the human before transformation. Okay, there we go. Average physique, facial characteristics and features, body tint, no. Symbiotic and parasitic species, no. Social structure, aha. Okay, let's get into this one, because I'm not sure exactly where that we can get, where else I'm going to put this. Okay, exploitation we may be able to take about. Let's take a little look at the sapience. Naming traditions, major organizations, beauty, gender, courtship. Nope. Common etiquette. Nope. Wow, these make it sound... Well, yeah, I bet... yeah, that's true, that this... interspecies... Oh, okay, we can talk... Yeah, let's put this here. Because... yeah, it's important, because we do want to talk about how the cursed and the others relate. Okay, there are 3 classifications on the... okay, there are 3 classifications on the in the animal kingdom. They are the blessed, the cursed, and normals. Okay, so normal animals are those that are neither blessed nor cursed. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much defining something by what it isn't. These are domesticated or wild animals with instincts as expected. Okay, so let's talk about the cursed. Okay, cursed animals are formerly human, fairy or fae, transformed into the I've already said it, into the shape of the magic user's choice. Okay. The cursed, and forgive me if I'm just kind of, I wrote all this up there, and so I just want to get this. The cursed animals, they portray an aura that scares away other animals. They, okay, so we already talked how they're transformed. They retain, we said this other, retain their human intelligence, which gives them advantage over normal and blessed animals. Okay. All right, and also when they die, the cursed decompose. Okay, the cursed decompose, and I think that's important to realize, because when we talk about the magical creatures, or what we're going to call the blessed in a second here, when they die, they have a core, and that core can be used for magical purposes. And so the cursed, even though they're a creation of magic, there's no magic internally in them, or if they were, it's stripped away from them. The cursed decompose. Even if the cursed is a fairy or fae, their powers are stripped from them and are no longer magical. Okay. Now, this is not exactly talking about the species in hand. We're talking about cursed animals, but I do want to get this in here. Okay, so blessed animals are those that turn into cores when they die. Okay. And now, when I say, okay, they're blessed by the power of Sagadorm. In the religion article that we talked about earlier tonight, we talked about the myth of the 5 dragons, how Sagadorm and the 4 elemental celestial dragons fought, and Sagadorm took the remains of the 5 elemental dragons internally and turned into a planet. So Sagadorm is sort of a quasi-intelligent or dormant intelligence of a dragon that the world now has formed upon. So these blessed animals are those that are blessed by the power of Sagadorm to be more, to be special. Okay, blessed by the power of. Okay, the blessing is random. Okay. It cannot be bred, meaning, and it cannot be found within domesticated animals. Now, I wanted to make sure that we had. I wanted to make it hard to find the blessed animals, because making magic hard to have makes it more valuable, more special. I didn't want it to be something that could be easily discovered or easily obtained. So the blessed animals must be wild, and you never know what kind they are. Okay. The blessed can be tracked by the rangers of Trilinius. More on them later in another prompt. I'm going to go into much more details about the rangers, because one of my main characters for a story that I'm working on called The Ranger's Revenge is a ranger of Trilinius, and that story's almost done. I just gotta give it a good ending. The blessed can be tracked by the rangers of Trilinius. Who hunt them to collect their cores for the fairy council. Okay. All right. And blessed animals rely on instinct and have no enhanced physical characteristics. Wow, I cannot spell. They do have an aura. Okay, they do have an aura that draws other animals to them, meaning they are often the leaders of their packs, herds, etc. Okay, so so hopefully by describing the blessed animals and the cursed animals and the normal animals, we'll have a better feeling about what the cursed is by defining what it isn't and what the others are. And that's why I wanted to talk into them. All right, so that's their interspecies relationships. Now, taboos, no. Common customs, no. Culture, no. They're animals. They're animals. They don't have clothes. Okay, I guess that's just being silly. No. Relation, no. Major organizations. The Rangers, no, but see, the Rangers are for the blessed, not for the cursed. Yeah. History. No. Okay, let's just article length. Oh, interesting. I've never seen that before. So let's save it and see how long we are here. Community. Ah, okay, we're long enough, but we are not done with my notes, and so I do want to get those typed in here. Anatomy, no. I want to talk about their hunting and their surviving because that was a part of the prompt, and I'm not exactly sure. Dietary needs and habits. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Okay, let's put them here. Okay, the cursed struggle in hunting and surviving as they are humans that have transformed into animals without any of the natural instincts. Okay. Okay. They try to find humans that will care for them. Often they act as street vagrants who root through garbage. Some turn to what? Man, I cannot read my own handwriting. Some turn to scavengry. Yeah, scavengry, or because they become scavengers. Okay, so there are missions of religious orders who seek out and care for the cursed. Okay, they take them to farms and teach them to survive and thrive in their new forms. And they try to reform those who need it and want to, because not everybody wants to be reformed. Okay. Okay. Some are able to break their curse. Others may not. Depends on the individual. Okay, because of course with the princess and the frog, the frog does break his curse, becomes a prince again. And if you want to see what happens to my prince, who was a frog, you'll have to read my story, because I'll just give you a spoiler, he doesn't get the girl, which I think is really important. I hate instant love in fairy tales. You got to earn it. All right, so let's save that. And let's go to the community challenge. All right, we wrote about that. We are good to go there. Now, let us go to NaNoWrimo. And okay, so with the cursed, now this, Moonflower helped me with this last night, where, okay, so in the words here, this article has 507 words. So I will add here in this session, I added 507 words. And then when I go to, let's go back to the articles and categories, I will go to Sable the Peaceful. Oh, right there, word count, 540. Excellent, don't even need to go in there. So I will go and add another one for 504, and we'll update that. So currently, we are at 1,958 words of our desired 10,000. Awesome. But we did, oh, sorry, we did skip a couple of days here. And so we are going to need to catch up. All right, so let's just transition over here. All right, so thank you so much, everyone who joined me tonight for the world building here of Sagadorm, where we talked about a religious figure and an apex predator. We will be back. Okay, so I will definitely be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, and maybe even, and most likely Saturday, depending on the if the family reunion gets done in time, and I'll be able to travel back in time for a Saturday evening world building stream. So, yep, thanks Moonflower for being here, and I really appreciate that. I do hope to be able to build a community around Sagadorm, but more importantly, building a community around writers. I have some awesome plans that are coming up after this world challenge. After I, work out the bugs and kinks and of all of this streaming on Twitch, I have a lot of exciting plans that I have for the months to come, especially for November with NaNoWrimo. So tomorrow we are going to talk about a medical condition that's caused by a drug or medicine. So tomorrow night I'm going to get really deep into magical potions and how magic and healing and stuff like that works. And then also I'm going to go into more details about the 4 moons of Sagadorm, because we're supposed to talk about an important celestial thing. So there may be a little bit of a repeat, because the important celestial bodies are the ones that are worshipped by the followers of the 5 dragons, whereas then we'll talk about the 4 moons of Sagadorm, but we're also going to talk about their impact on magic within the world. So we have some really good stuff coming up. The 10th, I'm looking forward to the 10th, because there is going to be the next round of prompts that are going to be released, and we'll be able to go there. So it is my goal to stream as many days as I can, but family comes first. And then the goal is still to accomplish the 33 prompts in the 31 days of July. So thank you so much for coming here. We didn't have any new followers join us today, but we did thank you, AJ and Moonflower, for coming and watching the stream live. I will be working on getting these streams up into a YouTube channel for people to be able to watch after the fact, but they are available on twitch.tv/WriterGreg if you would like to watch the replays or if you missed a replay. And let's just please tell your friends, tell your families, spread the word on Discord, social media, and so that we can have more people join us and get world building. So again, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the support, and I look forward to sharing more about the world of Sagadorm. Thanks, everyone.